Welcome back, everyone. Keeping up with recommended immunizations is important even as an adult. Dr. Mark Johnson joins us from Optum to talk more about this in this sponsored interview. And I do feel like the theme of the show is don't forget about the adults. We have our laundry list of things and priorities, but oftentimes moms and dads and grandparents get forgotten.
That's true. This time of year, kids are starting to go back to school or getting ready to go back to school. And so they often need vaccinations, and we worry about them. But it's just as important for adults to be vaccinated as well. Many times we forget about those, and it's important to remember that adults often are a reservoir for these diseases that can be passed to the kids.
So protect the adults so we can protect the children as well. And sometimes we look at our childhood immunizations. We've got them, then we don't have to worry about it. But oftentimes we do need boosters.
That's true. Even though we were immunized as children, sometimes that immunity wanes over time, and we do need boosters, and we need updates on some of those.
Let's go through some of the vaccines that are so important for adults. What would they be?
One of the most important to get is a seasonal flu vaccine. In just a month or so, we'll be heading into that season, and you'll be able to get those at health departments, at your physician's offices, and at a lot of pharmacies. Influenza is a very important disease that affects a lot of people every year. In addition, we often forget about a tetanus booster. Tetanus is recommended about every 10 years. We get them as children because we have to go to school, and we go to junior high and high school and so on. But adults, it's important to get as well. And I should go back to flu shots. They're especially important in older individuals, in individuals that have chronic health conditions such as diabetes or chronic lung disease or even heart disease. Those are all important reasons to be getting flu vaccines. The tetanus booster also protects against diphtheria and pertussis. And some of these diseases may cause very minor symptoms in adults, but can be devastating in small children, and adults can be a reservoir for those diseases and can pass them to the kids. So it's important to stay up to date on the tetanus booster, the Tdap in particular, to be sure that we're protecting as many people as we can.
And nowadays, there's a history and much more. Sometimes we might not remember, did we take that Tdap 10 years ago? But now it's much more documented and helpful. Is it up to us to bring it up, or will the doctor help us remind ourselves?
I think a combination of both. If you're having regular checkups and regular wellness visits with your physician, they should have access to your records. But it also is helpful for us individually to keep track of our own vaccination records and history so that we can be proactive in making sure we get the shots we need.
I brought up chickenpox. Do we need a booster for that?
If you've had the series earlier, or if you've had the disease, you usually don't need another one, but adults should seriously consider the shingles vaccine.
That's right.
If you've had chickenpox at an earlier age, you're at increased risk for shingles. That can be very painful and debilitating if you do get it.
Right. HPV.
HPV is an important one to consider as well, especially for those up to age 26 if they didn't already receive that as a teenager. HPV is a causative agent for cervical cancer, which is one of the leading cancers in women, and it's recommended that all people up to age 26 get that vaccine. All
very important. Any other vaccines that we need to be aware of?
Depending upon lifestyle or employment or job situation, it's important to get different vaccines. The HPV is just one. There are vaccines for meningitis that would be appropriate. If you're in healthcare, it's important to get the hepatitis A or hepatitis B. And if you're traveling abroad, there are other vaccines that may be specific for the country or area that you're going to be traveling. For those, it's best to consult perhaps the county health department. They would have an updated recommendation.
Doctor, just a great reminder, get your yearly checkup along with your kids so you're up to date with all the vaccines. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And thank you to Optum for sponsoring this interview. For more information and a list of those vaccines, just go to optum.com.